Okay, I got asked this question again on stream. I've already made multiple videos about it, but I guess I'll try to explain it again. I got asked about hurt boxes, arcade sticks, macros versus controllers, all this kind of stuff. I've tried to explain this. I'll try to explain it again, I guess. Remember, and when I'm having this conversation or whatever I'm talking about, I'm trying to come from an objective point of view, okay? I don't care about the subjective, okay? Because your subjective point of view against for people that are against what I'm saying is that you don't think it's a important skill, okay? I get that, right? You know what I mean? We all have our delusions that we live in, right? You know, I've jacked off the hentai before. I've lived in a delusion. We all have our suppressed childhood memories that we try to tell ourselves aren't real anymore. Get the fuck out of here. We all lie to ourselves to make life easier, okay? I don't care about the fucking subjective. You think macroing isn't cheating. You think it could because you think it's not that skillful, right? I mean, you don't think that you don't think it's an important skill. I mean, you know what I mean? So you don't think it's a big deal. That's your subjective opinion. That's not an objective opinion, okay? So anyway, let's go back to how macroing and all this kind of stuff, all this stuff started getting into execution with skills, right? Okay, so back in the day, we had games like Street Fighter 2, whatever, you know what I mean? And again, you had games were not developed around multi-hit or multi-button pressing moves, right? You had random characters that like, oh, maybe you have like a Geef Lariat or, you know, Balrog's Turn Punch, you know, whatever. Then you go into the days of like Street Fighter Alpha, where you know I have like two punches or two kicks for a level two, three punches, three kicks for a level three, whatever, you know what I mean? Or even say a game like Karna's Revenge, you know what I mean? I like Karna's Revenge. Mizuguchi, a blue DP, you know, maybe once in a few matches you might have to press four buttons to do your big blue DP, your big blue DDP, whatever the fuck, your big blue DP, right? You know what I mean? But it wasn't like games like Marvel vs. Capcom, like Guilty Gear, games that the core idea of being able to play these games involves multi button pressing throughout the match for everyone. And that's not even to say, like, obviously back in the day, I was like, okay, obviously, yeah, you turn punch, if you can turn punch just with Balrog with holding down one button, yeah, that's actually bullshit. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to say the community was not totally against it. And again, I'm old enough to remember, you know what I mean? But the community was not totally against it because there was an idea that you know oh it's you know it's only for these specific situations, right? It's not like the core game was actually developed all around this where being able to press multiple buttons is most definitely a skill. And that's not even saying, and of course, and obviously you put a quarter in your ass and you played yourself in the first place if you think that button mapping doesn't matter or it's not a skill, because if it's not a skill, why do you want a button map in the first place? Why would a Balrog player, if it's not like awkward to hold down an arcade stick, three buttons, even with an arcade stick, it's a skill, right? If it's not a skill to do this, then why the fuck do you need the button map in the first place, right? Or the macro, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? So obviously it's a fucking skill. Again, it's subjective if you think it's an important skill or not, okay? But obviously it's a skill you have to be able to hold down the control of these three buttons while still playing, right? Or whatever, right? So again, let's look at my controller. And I showed this on stream. I don't know. Let's see if we can jimmy this. Gotta watch out. I'm not wearing pants. No pants crew checking in, dude. Okay, so let's look at a game like Guilty Gear, right? We have FD, two buttons, right? We have slash back, right? I think it's called Blitz or something in XR. I don't fucking remember, dude. We have RCs, these three buttons, or these. We have instant kill, this. We have a burst, right? Whatever. That's five different multi-hit button pressing mechanics in the game. The game is designed around you being able to hit multiple buttons. Okay? Is that fact, right? We have five different multi-button hitting moves that you have to be able to do, right? To be good at the game. And I even showed this on stream yesterday. I showed examples of me wave dashing. Like, imagine this is like Marvel. And I showed how many times I missed it. Every now and then, I miss the wave dash, right? But here's the thing, if you button map, you cannot miss the wave dash. You can't miss hitting 2 buttons. You can't miss hitting 3 buttons. You can't miss hitting 4 buttons. You can't miss hitting these 2 buttons. You can't miss accidentally, oh, I'm trying to hold down 3 punches or 3 kicks with Balrog and like, oh, I accidentally slipped my finger to hit this button and I accidentally let go of one of the kicks or one of the punches and fuck, I just lost my fucking final turn punch. Do you see what I'm saying? You cannot miss it if you macro. And I went on stream and I showed this again. I was like, showing like, hey, let's see how many times I missed doing this while I'm just playing normally, right? Every now and then I missed it. But if I macro it, I cannot miss it. Do you see what I'm saying here? Again, your subjective opinion is, well, I don't think it's an important skill, but objectively, it's not the same, dude. Do you see what I'm saying? Crap, I'm getting a call from the hospital. I don't want to stop, but let me try to keep going for a little bit. And also, since we're on my hands, let's remember, don't give me any excuses, my hands are fucked up, or so I can't do this. Remember, and this was funny, first off, shout outs to Mike Watson. Mike Watson, one of the most famous Street Fighter players ever. I guess his arcade is going down. That sucks, you know what I mean? Mike Watson, I don't know him well, but he was always a cool dude whenever I talked to him a few times. I remember reading to him about him as a kid. And it's funny because just an example, I know I posted on his Facebook, I hope he always remembers, dude's a fucking legend, right? He was one of the most important people ever when Street Fighter was not just the biggest fighting game ever, when Street Fighter was one of the most important video games ever. When you thought of Street Fighter, you thought of Mike Watson. And, I posted on his Facebook, and I guess if you even think about it, he was like, yeah, I remember the one Evo that I won, I beat you, which is kind of funny because people just like, wow, you actually got second at Evo, Clayton? It's like, I guess technically I did get second at that Evo, but here's the funny thing about controller wise, just because I'm going about my hands, because, my body is fucked up, right? Do you realize during that tournament, a Street Fighter tournament, my body was already so fucked up at that point that I could barely even play on an arcade stick, let alone a controller. Because I remember APOC even coming up to me. He's like, dude, Clayton, you're playing on controller now? And it was like, dude, my body is so fucked up now, dude. I had to teach myself to play on controller Street Fighter, dude. Do you realize that? So that's one of my excuses. So I don't button map when I play Guilty Gear, any of this kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? So what is your excuse, right? So anyway. Fuck. Why'd I have to get a call from the doctor when we're trying to do this shit? Are we back on? Do I look cool for my 2% female viewer? My 2% female viewership? Got a piece of air in my mouth. Anyway, dude. So that's what I'm getting at. So that's why macroing and everything like that is bullshit, okay? Because you can actually miss it. Again, the idea back in the day was, oh, okay, and again, this is still like bullshit to an extent. It's like, again, I use Carnage as an example because I think, it's a cool game, right? Mizuguchi does his once every few matches a big blue, right? That's multiple. I think you look at a person on a controller like, oh yeah, okay, it's every once in a few matches. We could see that, right? But the problem became because these games, in an effort to make them more complicated, perhaps you could say, added more multi-hit button pressing moves, and they became a core part of the gameplay. They were not like, oh, hey, I gotta do this every once in a while, tap 3 punches, do my level 3 super Street Fighter Alpha, whatever, right? This is throughout the match. I'm FD dashing, I'm RCing, I'm whatever, I gotta burst exactly, I gotta boom, 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 boom. Dude, it became a skill that is directly correlated to if you can play the game or not. It is a core thing that every person must be good at. It is not a single character one single character. And again, certain characters actually can abuse it back in the day. I mean, I'm sure anyone could be like, man, it's cheap that, we're letting these Balrog players be able to hold down one punch thing, whatever. And I fucking agree with that, right? You know what I mean? But I don't think there was any ideas like, oh, this one person might do this one thing once on a blue moon. That was not the community's problem, right? The community's problem became because games like Marvel vs. Capcom, games like Guilty Gear, these other games where it was a core part of the game rely on you being able to do this. Whether or not you can do this as a core part of the skill. I went on stream again and I showed, again, I miss stuff every now and then, right? And I showed my button inputs, right? But when you button map, You can't miss it, okay? What is a subjective, what is your fucking subjective argument against there, Jimmy? Timmy, as Billy. I don't know, dude. That's what I'm saying, okay? I don't understand why the community doesn't understand that, right? Whether or not you think it's an important skill is your subjective opinion, but it is a skill, okay? And you can't say that it's not bullshit. People talking about hurt boxes. Oh, well, you can do this, you can do this. And it's like, dude, no. What are you talking about? You can't physically do that unless you're using this, right? And then we go into, again, people, this is why I feel like it's almost not fun for me to make these videos because I'm so I'm way too logical, right? I'm way too logical. I'm too smart for my own good, right? You know what I mean? I got this shit-eating grin on my face. You know what I mean? I'm so much better than the video game community. I beat you fuckers while I was sick, and I could whatever. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not trying to like bring a subjective. I'm not trying to be like whatever because subjectively, again, play whatever the fuck you want to play, dude. If you want to play a game, play whatever. That's why I say I don't care about a lot of these new games, so I don't play them. I'm not butthurt about that. I don't want to enter tournaments anymore because I don't like the community. So my subjective way to enjoy the game is I'm just gonna make a combo video. And the community still fucking gets mad at me for that because I'm more fucking creative than everyone else, right? So I mean, what the fuck, like, dude, I'm just trying to enjoy games how I enjoy. Enjoy games what you want to do. If you want to play a game that I don't like, I don't care. Play it, dude. But don't try to say your subjective opinion about something is objective in fact, because that doesn't make any sense. And it just proves that there's so many absolute fucking Looney Tunes in the video game community, right? That will make up whatever excuse. And also, and like I said, some people tried to argue that if the developers didn't want you to button map, it would not be in the game. Dude, no, stop. You could fucking button map as far back as all these other Street Fighter games. You know what I mean? What happened when every Street Fighter game was still coming out to arcade, right? It's not like after Street Fighter Alpha. It's not like they weren't still making CVS2. Did the CVS2 machines have fucking did they have fucking button mapping on it? No, they didn't, dude. And Street Fighter had been a thing for a long fucking time, dude. Look at fucking Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear was a console game originally. Guilty Gear was a console game originally. We've already established there are 5 extra inputs you can do. Did the Guilty Gear machines, when they came to the arcade, did it have 5 extra buttons on the button thing on the arcade machine? No. As a matter of fact, it was even missing a button. They took away one of the buttons from Street Fighter. They used arcade cabinets of Street Fighter and they took away one of the buttons. They're like, fuck it, we're not even giving you a freebie, bro. We're not even giving you one fucking freebie. So you have no precedent to even come out with that argument that the developers wanted you to. It's bullshit. Because when even in this day of consoles, when consoles have taken over arcades, when the console game comes out first and the arcade game comes out after, do you think all the arcades look like a fucking hitbox? Do they have 5, 6 extra buttons so you can button map every single thing? Do they? I'm just asking you, dude. Can you fucking have a real conversation here, dude? I'm not trying to fight. If you like it, dude. Jack off on your controller, bro. Take your controller, stick it up your butthole, dude. Men have a fucking G-spot up their butthole. I don't know if you know this, dude, but maybe it's gonna feel good, dude. Do whatever you want to do, right? That's your subjective way to enjoy the video game, okay? But don't make up bullshit for your argument, okay? Because it just makes you look more stupid. And there's so many other stupid people in the video game community. They might think you actually know what you're talking about. And that's you don't want to like that's like going to a kid and like people are very people are very stupid in the video game community. People there's proof of everything I've ever said about the video game community, and people are so stupid they don't understand, right? You know what I mean? Like people are very gullible, right? So you might be a real big fucking idiot, and there might be a lot of gullible Jimmys out there that might believe your Jimmy opinion, okay? Again, at the end of the day, if you like something, you like something. But to pass something off as truth and as objective when it's not, it's fucking stupid, dude. Like, this is like, come at me with a real argument for any of these things I've done. And people don't because you're not capable of having an intelligent conversation about a video game and then you're actually posting about it like you are intelligent, and you're trying to get these game companies to like listen to you. It's just like, what are you doing? Like, what on the offhand chance that like maybe someone's actually like reading a profile or something like, we got a fan letter from a Mr. Jimmy Billy Timmy. Well, what's it say? What's it say? What does it say? He said he's very thankful that our recent Guilty Gear game had 5 extra buttons on the arcade cabinet, and he hopes we continue it. And he's like, I don't fucking remember that. Did we do that? And he's like, I don't remember that either, but I'm such an idiot. Maybe we did. Okay. I don't remember. Like, we're just like, come on, bro. Really? Anyway, I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to make this video, dude. I've come at this from so many different angles. Give me a real argument. Don't give me a stupid argument, okay? And I'm gonna end this with, again, just because this is maybe a joke in poor taste, right? People were, again, people always try to say video games are more popular nowadays. It's not true. Being a nerd is more popular nowadays. And I'm gonna give you a fucked up analogy, right? Do you know how popular Street Fighter was back in the day? Street Fighter was not only the most popular fighting game back in the day. Street Fighter was a cultural phenomenon, right? Popular to the point that Raul Julia, who was dying of cancer, was like, "Oh fuck, I'm about to die of cancer, but I have a chance of being in this Street Fighter movie. This is the biggest thing in the world right now. I don't want to read the script. I'm about to die of cancer, but I got to do this movie. Dude, I fuck it. I don't want to read the script. I got to do this movie. Let me sign on. I'm about to die, but man, if I do Street Fighter, dude, I'm always going to be remembered for that." Fucked up way to think about it, and he's probably like, "Oh shit, what the fuck have I just? Fuck me, right?" You know what I mean? It's like you want me to fire missiles with an arcade stick? It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man! I should have just continued the chemo, right? You know what I mean? But again, maybe a joke and poor taste. But the point is, do you think video games are that popular? Do you think Street Fighter? Do you think they're making Guilty Gear videos and people are like, "Oh fuck, I'm about to die. Let me make this fucking. There's a chance to make this." You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So if you're gonna argue with something, and maybe that's fine. Maybe videos aren't fun if you can't argue, right? Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I need to come out with like a hot take that's actually not true, right? But anyway, the end, I got to call back doctor stuff actually. So.